Halo Wars 2. Now before I begin, let me just say that I'm a big fan of the original Halo Wars. I loved that game, I played it for hours on end, so I was definitely looking forward to its sequel. Now the story for Halo Wars 2 is set on the Ark, the birthplace of the Halo rings. Surely there's no other better setting than that. Well, unfortunately they don't really take advantage of the fact that they're on the Ark. In fact, there were missions where I forgot I was even on the Ark. And it's only until the final few missions that they do something really interesting with the Ark. And whilst I think that the story it is good, I mean, don't get me wrong, the story is good, the characters are compelling, they don't really do anything that interesting with its location until the very end, which is a bit of a curious choice to do with you know, of how to write this story. But let's go to the characters. I like this version of Captain Cutter better than I did in the first game, because I must admit though, Captain Cutter in the first game was a bit flat. The voice actor wasn't that good, I must admit. So I like this new incarnation of Captain Cutter in Halo Wars 2. Professor Anders is a lot more likeable in this version compared to the first one as well, but you don't really see too much of her. And Isabel, I like Isabel. She's definitely got a lot of personality. So Isabel, I think, is perhaps better than Serena, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, Atriox. I like Atriox a lot, but we don't really see a lot of him. He makes this big grand appearance in the beginning of the game, and you don't really see him again until the very end, which I thought was a bit questionable, quite frankly. But I wouldn't say he's better than the villain in the first game, the evil Arbiter in the first game, but I think that the Arbiter in Halo Wars 1 got a lot more screen time, should we say, compared to Atriox did. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't really use him that much, but anyway, the cutscenes were great. They were definitely well done. It's almost like Microsoft has Blur on retainer or something like that, because the cutscenes were a joy to look at. It was definitely movie quality. Now the gameplay for Halo Wars 2 is nothing special. It's pretty much copy and pasted from the very first game. You're still limited to about 9 slots around your around your base. You can't build like, you know, anything special. You can't, but you can't experiment very well. Like, you can't build walls, you can't build a vast city or anything like that. It's not like StarCraft, where you can sort of build like 16 barracks in a row and several factories in this direction. You are limited to those 9 build slots around your main base. It's very similar to the first Battle for Middle-earth game, essentially, where you're limited to build slots. But I do like the introduction of siege cannons. Now these siege cannons are basically these giant artillery pieces you can build on your base, which have great range. They are fantastic for blowing up enemy blobs essentially coming towards you. So I like the siege cannons a lot. For the factions, you've got 2. Like in the first game, you've got the UNSC, and this time it's the Banished, which are essentially a version of the Covenant. Now, I like the Banished. I think that their units are quite unique. I like the Cyclopses in the UNSC, because I must say, Cyclopses are one of my favourite units. I just tend to build like a whole armies full of Cyclopses. I don't know what it is, but they're just great, especially when you've got incoming Scorpion tanks or Wraith tanks coming towards you. Those Cyclopses are really good, but that's just my personal opinion. But I must say it is disappointing with regards to the gameplay that there are no space battles, and you can't get very creative with regards to base building. So that's unfortunate, but it's not a game changer or anything like that. And I hope that they release the Flood as a playable faction in DLC. We know that there's going to be some more DLC coming out, and I think there's some campaign DLC as well. So I hope that they do release the Flood as a playable faction, because one of the problems with the first game is that there were just 2 factions. The Flood did make an appearance in the first game, but you couldn't play as them. And we know that originally that was the plan, but they just didn't really do it. So I'm hoping that in this game that we will get the Flood as a playable faction, because we desperately need the Flood as a playable faction. Come on, it'd be so fun to play as them. And I've heard several people talk about maybe introducing the Prometheans as a playable faction as well, maybe even the Created, because this game is supposed to be set about, say, 5 months after the events of Halo 5, so there's definitely a possibility there. So it'll be very interesting to see what the incoming DLC will be. So would I recommend this game? Yes, I would definitely recommend this game. I think for hardcore RTS players, they're not really going to get anything new out of it, but for Halo fans, it's a joy to play, because it's one of those things where I think in order to get Halo out of, just stuck on the whole first-person shooter genre, it's interesting to experiment a bit with it, and I think that Halo Wars is a good way to try and sort of branch out Halo a bit more. And I think that I'm glad that they're doing this, though, that they're actually experimenting with different ideas of how to take the franchise further. So yeah, I would definitely buy this game. I would, you will have a lot of fun with it, because I'm certainly having a lot of fun playing the multiplayer. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.